Hello, friends. Rich here with another GRM staff training where we are working together to help individuals and our communities to flourish with God leading the way. I want to take a moment here and encourage you to share that with our shelter guests and have them share that out in the community because we want them to flourish. We're not here to be a flop house. We're not here just to check the box. We're not here just to take from our community. We want our community and the individual we're serving to flourish. And by the way, that includes you and me. We are designed by God to flourish as well. But we got to make sure that God is leading the way through that whole process. A lot of good ideas that maybe don't have God's okay on it. Even good things, sometimes God is saying, not right now, do this way. And it doesn't always make sense in our limited perspectives, but God is leading the way as we do this training. Think about that. So today's trait we're looking at is execution, getting things done. Particularly over the past 8 years, I've attended countless meetings. I've been part of different committees. I've been at different places. And there's a lot of mindset on a lot of things about just talk. And they want to do more research, to investigate more. And then they go years without actually doing anything. And I've stepped out of most of those committees where they're just talk. They feel good about being part of that. I've dropped out of one that was the governor's committee. I dropped out. All they want to do is talk about it and complain mostly. And they don't really want to execute. They don't really want to end homelessness. They would just like to talk about it for the next 20, 30, 40 years. I'm not interested in just talk. Talk is cheap. Simon Sinek, he has some great leadership books out there. He said that words may inspire, but only action creates change. There is a time for words. And God's word obviously does create that change, but change is what we're looking for. Change is what happens when we take action. So what keeps us from producing the change that we just so desire and so need? And one of those is embracing fear. Now, a lot of times we want to avoid things that make us afraid, or we have the bold, no, I am fearless. I'm never going to be afraid. That is, it is not a very honest appraisal. Fear is part of, it's an emotion God gave us for a good reason. All the emotions have good reason why God gave them to us. So we need to take the moment to figure out what is going on. When I was at airborne school, first of all, the idea of going to airborne school was, I was kind of like, oh, I'm a soldier, I'm tough, I can do this. But actually arriving at airborne school, they have these giant towers that we didn't know it at the time, but they had quit using them. But these giant towers, they would drop you out of these giant towers with kind of a little parachute, so it wasn't out of a plane yet. It was just supposed to be a kind of a controlled descent, so you can practice moving your parachute around. That was what the idea was. But you're looking at these towers, and they're way up in the sky, and you're thinking, this is a stupid idea. But they kind of work you out step by step. So when you're trying to embrace fear, take a little step. You're afraid to talk to new people? Talk to someone who you've only met once, versus somebody who you've never met before. Take a little step. Have a little conversation with people and learn about them. Embrace the fear. We took little steps. First, we jumped off a log, and then we jumped off of a tower that was about 5 feet high, and then we kind of slide for life, little slide rope, a little like a zip line sort of thing. And then eventually we were jumping out of airplanes. But it's step by step by step, and we had to embrace the fear at each one. Each one, you had a certain level of fear that was going with it. But if you take it inch by inch, it's not nearly as bad. So take the time to embrace fear. I want to feel a little bit afraid. I can't learn and grow unless I challenge myself and push myself a little bit. So as we're executing and we're trying to make a plan happen, we got to understand that we're going to have a little bit of fear. Change creates fear. But at the other end, it could be better. So let's take a chance and look at that. As we're going through, we've had our plans, we put all our plans together, things are moving forward, but we need to assume that sometimes things just might go wrong. They're not going to go the way we thought that they were going to go. It is okay to assume things might go wrong, and you have a plan in mind. That's why we do all the planning. It develops this idea of, what am I going to do when this happens? What am I going to do when that happens? You already have some thinking that has already gone on. So assume that things just might go wrong, and you're going to have to be okay with the fact that sometimes things are going to go wrong. A lot of people go down a road, and he know God's led him down that road. Think about Abraham going down the road. God clearly called him to leave his family and to wander. And all of a sudden, he's got this whole thing with Lot and Lot being taken captive. That was not part of Abraham's thinking ahead of time. He was thinking, I'm just going to go. I'm going to take care of Lot, which there's some question whether he was supposed to do that or not. He probably shouldn't have, because God said to leave his family, and yet he took Lot. Well, anyway, things went wrong. That was not part of this whole plan. So he had to, if he had been, he could have said, well, okay, well, Lot got captured. I'm done. Give it up. And that's what happens for a lot of us. One little thing starts to go wrong, we just give it all up. But if we assume some things are going to go wrong, we're going to be okay with that. It's okay, God, things did not go the way I planned. What do I do now? What do I do now? What do I do now? Assume that things just might go wrong. And as you're putting together your plan that we talk about in another leadership trait, we got to have to put in some time for practice. Now, this is one that I have not done as well. I've taken too much time just winging it or doing the least amount of preparation. Now, I want to encourage us in 2024, particularly and moving forward, is that we begin to practice. We rehearse. And so when I do presentations, I'm going to do more rehearsal. I'm going to practice these a little more often. If we're going to have an event, we're going to kind of mentally lay it out or physically lay it out and take a look at what it actually looks like. We're going to run video if that's what we're taking, or any kind of media needs. We're going to look at it first and practice what we're going to do. And you'll be amazed at how that practice will start to give you confidence. So that way that embracing the fear is no longer an issue. When you practice, you're going to find some things that are going to go wrong if you don't make some adjustments ahead of time. That practice is a powerful opportunity to execute efficiently and effectively. And then once the event's all done, you do those events, and then you do what the military and other organizations call an AR, an after action review. We're going to take a look at everything that happened. What went right? What went wrong? What could we do different? And we're going to have an improvement to the next time we do something similar. That after-action review is a key component of us learning and growing and becoming better. So the next time we execute it, we're going to be executing it just that much better. So again, I thank you for taking the time to do the training. This is how we become better. Our goal is every day to be 1% to 2% better than we were the day before. And when we accomplish that, God will be glorified. I thank you so much for serving and loving the men and women God brings our way. Have a great day.